Alright, Brian with Little B's Custom Fabrication here. This is our new 5th Gen 4runner bumper. We just got it all installed. We wanted you guys to see the install video and understand how to put it on based on our take on how this all goes. So a couple key features. Extreme LED 30-inch light bar. We can put any 30-inch light bar in here you want. You just have to let us know what you're going to use. We got pod mounts over here. You can go all the way up to a 6-inch pod on it. The next space over, you can go to about a 5-inch pod on it, and then down to a 3-inch pod. We've tied in our skid plate to the bottom cross member so that way the bumper is all integrated in. We've even put it on side frame support so that way you don't have any problems with the bumper trying to flex while you're winching with it. Hopefully everybody likes our new bumper. If you have any questions about your install or about the bumper or anything else, just give us a call. We'll be happy to answer them. We're laying out all our bolts and fasteners that we'll use. This is our winch cover. These bolts have to be used with your winch. You can't use the metric bolts that come with your winch. If you use the metric bolts, they're not going to fit here. If you use these bolts with your metric nuts, they're obviously not going to fit either. So these will go through the winch bolts foot forward, not to the base of the bumper like normal winches do. These guys right here are going to hold your fair lead on. We've tapped this hole right here so you guys can use it to bolt your fair lead on. Over here you got your side frame supports. These two bolts will go through the bumper. This bolt goes through your frame rail, same thread pitch and everything as your Toyota frame rail. Also through your frame rail, same thread pitch. This guy right here goes on the back of your winch control box. We've tried to give you guys as many spots as possible to be able to use normal winch control boxes and the hardware that comes with them to bolt this on. We'll explain where this goes later on. These guys are your skid plate bolts. Most likely when you get your bumper shipped, it's going to have these already in it. And then these little guys right here, these will hold on your light bar cover. So your 30-inch light bar is going to screw to the cover that we make, and then you'll bolt these into pre-threaded holes in the bumper itself. And that's all the hardware.
And there's 10 bolts down here. 10 bolts for your bumper and your plastic skid plate. Just want to take them all out. Make sure you get them all. And it's a 10 millimeter.
We're probably going to get a little bit of flack about the fact this thing doesn't have a guard on it, but this is the one we use. So this guy right here, we use it to cut the plastic bumper because it's what we're good at. It's what we're used to using. A lot of people will use one of those little vibrating multi-tools. It probably works a lot better. You don't get as much plastic flying loose. It's just personal preference as far as it goes. So what we've done is we've done a nice rough cut line. It's not the line we're going to use eventually. We've just went a 1/2 inch below where we expect to be and made the line. So basically start a 1/2 inch below here and 6.5 inches down from here. Make yourself a horizontal piece of tape, draw a line on it, however you want to do it. Just try not to fling stuff all over and start heading off into where you're going to be able to keep your body parts. So I'm going to start this cut. We'll just kind of work through it, and then once we got this piece off, we'll get the bumper bracket off, we'll get the crash bar off, and then we'll see about a fit up on our bumper. bit deeper around where the fog lamps are, and I should pop it out.
There she goes.
No more stock bumper. She's gone. Alright, so now crash bar is going to come off. We'll figure out what we want to do with these little air dam guys. I'm assuming we're basically going to trim them up about as high as we got our bumper to sit. So crash bar will be 14 millimeter bolts back here. There's going to be 4 per side, 3 here, 1 inside. We take this whole thing off. So this basically has just little pressure clips. Oh, should have pressure clips. You just grab them from the top, just peel them off. And it looks like 1 plastic button in the middle of it. So we're gonna have to pop that out too. All right. Use this plastic button. Cool. All right, so there's your opening. We'll go from here. So right now we're taking off the aluminum crash bar, and it just makes it easier to get to the bolts that hold the brackets to the frame. Oh, you're not trying to push around behind them. You're going to want to save these bolts. These are the same bolts you're going to use to bolt your bumper on.
See anything? It's got a hook on the top.
Yes. For our last fit up cut, we got to get rid of a little bit of this. This is where our support tube comes in on the side of the bumper here. So I made a line. I'm just going to nip it off. We should be able to get our fit up, and then we'll go from there on how much higher we want to go on all this. What we got going on is we're sitting at the is our rough fit, so it's all tight. Got different gaps everywhere. So right now, if you look at it, we're sitting 5.5 inches to this seam right here. This is going to be a reference point. 5.5 inches from that seam down to the top of this bumper is going to be every time. Goes on both sides. So we want to recommend that you guys give it at least a 1/2 inch of flex between the bumper and the plastic. This is a solid piece of steel going to a piece of plastic, not plastic to plastic anymore. So that's going to be our spot now, about a 1/2 inch up from here to right here. And then we're just going to follow this hole all the way around. We're going to give it that whole 1/2 inch everywhere we go. And that should land us out on that corner fender about right here. What I've done is I've made a mark at 4 inches away. And that should land you right at 4 inches away from this point on this. That's going to be the final part. That's your zero right there. So you're going to zero out as you come into this. Okay? Alright. Make a bunch of lines. Pull it back off. Make a cut. So we put our little square nuts into the bottom of the winch. We discard the ones that come with the Smittybilt, especially because they're unmetric. And then we took our winch plate, come down on your driver's side a little bit. And we drop it in there a little bit. That one. If it's powder coated, you probably don't want to scrape it around like I am, but it's not, so I am.
I got one.
If you want. Yeah, just gotta ninja finger it. Just throw it at it.
Okay.
Alright. Easy enough. So that's the winch mounting. Everything just works off the forward facing for the feet. And then we give you, for your fair lead, we give you these guys. We put a flat washer and a lock washer on it. Not just for the reason of we want the lock washer on there so it'll stay, but also if you use the whole thing without the washers, it's gonna rub on your winch drum on the inside there. So you definitely want to watch out for that. Alright, there's the front of your winch mount. Super simple. So our winch control box puts your winch, or bracket, puts your winch control box right in here. And then you just tuck your wires up underneath, run them over to the bottom of the winch, just like the instructions for the winch tells you to. You can reach in and out the front hole, turn it on, turn it off. Everything's nice and easy and accessible once the bumper's mounted on. You'll also notice this is your disengage, engage. You can reach that either from the side hole if you don't have lights in the way, or right through the front of the bumper. Just reach around behind and do your thing. Nice and easy, lots of room unless you have massive Popeye arms. On, we're doing our final bolt up, fit up. The cuts have been made. You need a little bit up on your side, Cody. And just a lot of up. A little more. What am I on here? Got it? There it is. Is that your finger? Felt squishy.
It's in the way.
Finger's in the way. Okay. I need to push this side up. Side up. Side to side, or all right, so Cody's going to put on our side frame support bracket. Basically just a way a little bit more support, hold the bumper in place. You start pulling on it with a winch or anything else. So you got, I don't know if you want to see. So you got 2 bolts here, the bolt here, and then here. Put them all in loosely, and then tighten them all up. Pretty easy. Then do the other side. All right, so for this bottom skid down here, we have 6 3/16 flathead bolts holding it on. There's one on each side on the outside, here, 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 and here. These are license plate holes. Put that on, you just wait till last. You're gonna probably want to remove your skid plate that you have on your truck and put ours on, and then overlap it with yours after ours is on. We also have 2 bolt holes right here. We've also added in the light bar mount. We don't have a light bar for this quite yet. By the time you see the final install with this thing powder coated, it'll have its light bar mounted to it. So that's pretty much everything for our install process. On this one, we did extreme LEDs, the 4 individual pods. You can see there's plenty of room for them in there. No problems fitting more. We're figuring in those things, you could probably fit about 20 of those damn things in there. Light up the whole world if you're scared of the dark.